Good to see you, gang. Chicken Tots here. I've got devlog number 2 for Oh No My Baby. And boy, how things have changed. So on the screen, you should be seeing the like public build, which is definitely different from what you have seen in the past and what you're about to see too. So the public build is made in Gdevelop, not Godot. The Godot version of Oh No My Baby is dead. I just moved the whole project over to Gdevelop. If you don't know anything about it, it's a game engine that is basically code light or codeless. It's free and open source. It's got some pretty crazy good features. It's really like a quick workflow process. It was very easy for me to kind of like learn from nothing and get into. So the differences from the Godot version to the Gdevelop version, basically, we went from a single level platformer with reversed gravity into a casual endless avoider game. It seemed more interesting to me, and definitely like once you play through the one Godot level, you're kind of done with the game. An endless avoider game, you know, you can go for high scores. There's more replayability. It's more interesting to me than just, you know, recreating a boring platformer. So you'll also notice like some graphical changes. The baby has 3 balloons instead of just the one. The 3 balloons represent health. So basically you can hit 3 things before your round is over. And each time you get hit, you'll pop a balloon. I thought that was like maybe a pretty cool way to show a health bar in a way that didn't rely on an external UI element. I like the idea that you can just get the immediate feedback there. And then there is a sound effect for a popping balloon, which, I don't know, you may or may not be able to hear that. I don't know. You also see cupcakes falling in addition to the storm clouds. Those are collectibles, so they're going to increase score by 10. So that's encouraging. Basically, the whole point of the collectible is to get the player to move for a reason other than the fact that there's a cloud directly above your head. Otherwise, you could kind of just sit in the center of the screen or sit in a corner and kind of not move and just rack up points. So, I mean, you still kind of could do that, but you'd be missing out on a lot of collectibles. Oh, you can also see implemented here are the stray balloons. So if you have full health, the stray balloons are just a collectible that reward points, like a cupcake. If you have any health or any damage taken, though, the balloon that floats in is going to match the color of the one that you need. You'll grab it, add it to your stack of balloons, and you basically gain a health. It's super visually obvious. It's really straightforward, and I'm super pleased with it. Just the design of that is something that I'm very happy with. In the current iteration of the game, which you're probably seeing on screen right now, you can see a lot have changed. A lot have changed. A lot has changed. First, we got the instruction video, which is pretty cool. It shows basically just that you can grab and move the baby with either your mouse cursor or touch. It shows the negative repercussions of getting hit by the hazards, and it shows the benefit of picking up collectibles. That's not super beautiful or elegant, but it gets the job done. And I thought if I got the point across without words, it might be easier to port to other languages if I ever wanted to try that. Like the whole game has essentially no language in it except for high score, level, and the title. Like it would be a pretty quick port to other languages. Oh, and I guess I should probably also point out that instead of being controlled by the WASD or arrow keys, now the control scheme has the player as a draggable object. So you basically, instead of being constricted to the force limitations that I programmed in, you can now pull that bad boy as fast and far as you would like to in any amount of time. I still can't drag it off the screen though, because that would be cheating. I did this because I feel like it makes the play more dynamic, and it allows me to be a little bit more fast and loose with spawn timers and hazard speed type stuff. You'll see that come into play more with the Berserk mode and level stuff. Okay, so in terms of graphics, the baby got a fresh redesign. The balloons have shading now on them, and the pickups have changed substantially. Well, and so have the hazards. So I started to think of the project as like, this is the baby's daydream. So instead of storm clouds, we switched over to have broccoli, cabbage, and tomatoes as the hazards. I don't really necessarily hate vegetables, but kids in general are. And they were fun to draw. I like to draw veggies, I found out. The pickups got some variations as well. The cupcake design improved, and I also created an ice cream cone and a donut to add in. I mean, it's the fantasy of every child to own balloons, be able to fly, never eat vegetables, and always get to eat dessert, right? You can probably also tell that I added a few other things going on. Hazards have this super thick red outline and a red glow to let you know that they're super dangerous. The collectibles, by contrast, have a little yellow halo to show you that they're positive. Everything rotates now, too. Does that make sense? I don't know. But it adds dynamic movement to the scene, and I feel like it really needed it. Oh yeah, and I got particle effects in. And I'm sure this isn't like maybe the intended use for particle effects, but I fell in love with them so much. There's like I think there's a pretty severe learning curve to how to actually use particle effects in a way that makes sense. But one cool thing that you can do is just add a sprite to the particle emitter, and then you get to like produce those little spirals of frustration when you get hit, or have those coins pop out when you collide with a collectible. I've heard a lot of game devs talk about giving the game juice, and I think that's mostly what we're talking about here. The iteration I showed at the beginning of the devlog is almost identical to this one in terms of gameplay mechanics. All this changed is just the level of polish and juice added to the game. Those little touches really make a big difference. What I'm quickly learning about game development is just how much of it relies on your own artistic vision. Or maybe a better way to put it would be to say that I overestimate the importance of gameplay and underestimate the importance of visual and audio design. The balance is a lot more complex, dynamic, and interwoven than I ever expected when I started. Let's talk about Berserk mode. Berserk mode is substantially different now than it is in the current public build. Previously, you'd have a short alert period with a yellow indicator at the top of the screen, and then the indicator would turn red and the timescale would immediately speed up. Now you've got the alert period that actually stops hazards from spawning. It's like a clear delineation of regular mode is over, Berserk mode is starting, it's about to get real. It also has the added benefit of having any hazards scroll off the screen so that I have a fresh screen at the start of Berserk mode. So when the top bar turns red, hazards and collectibles fall faster, which is the same as it did before, but the rate of speed is a little bit different. The hazards actually grow during Berserk mode, and they'll shrink back down to normal outside of Berserk mode. Each time you go through Berserk mode, the speed of the normal game and the speed of the next Berserk mode will increase substantially. There's now a level system implemented to control the size and speed of falling objects. During Berserk mode, obstacles will also grow substantially, making it harder to avoid them. This growth factor will also increase as the level increases, which means no matter how easy the game might look, it would be impossible to play it infinitely. Level also controls the size of collectibles, but they simply grow about 10% of their base size each level. Stuff gets big and ridiculous, and I love it. The state of Oh No My Baby is actually pretty close to finished. The big things left on my radar are sound effects and music. I do need to sign up for the Google Developer Program. I'm choosing to start with the Google Developer Program because I think it's a $25 flat fee, where the Apple Developer Program is $100 a year. I'd like to see if maybe I can generate a little bit of revenue from the Google Play side of things before I step into the App Store. My next project is going to be a 2D puzzle platformer, and you'll hear all about that as soon as the release of Oh No My Baby. I'm hoping to release Oh No My Baby January 2022, probably mid-January. It may end up being more toward late January, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I will have devlog number 3 coming at you next week. Have a happy and safe holiday. If you want to be sure you can catch more of my game dev stuff, hit the subscribe button. See you next time.